Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Should I tell Stubby to hold his horses? We're After freezing our you-know-what's off 2 weeks ago at the National Park of Speed, we now head west just 25 miles south of the land of swimming pools and movie stars to Long Beach, California. Envisioned by former travel agent Christopher Pook as the Monaco of the West and first raced in 1975, tonight's venue hosted Formula One for many years and serves as the home of the longest-running major street race in North America, where CART and IndyCar have called this 2-mile, 11-turn concrete canyon home since 1984. Welcome, everybody, to Long Beach, California for round number 6 of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech World Challenge, presented by Performa Texas Elite Graphics and Butt Kicker here on Apex Racing TV. 7 rounds, 3 continents, and some of the best GT3 GT and GTP racers around. I'm Greg Ginsburg, and joining me in the announce booth, as always, is Larry Lefty McLeod, along with the two Johns, Jonathan Grabowski and John Robertson in the virtual production trailer, bringing you all the views of tonight's action. And so, good evening, Larry, and welcome back to Long Beach since the first time since season number 2, almost exactly 2 years ago.
Yeah, it's good to be back in the sunny Southern California here. Great view of the cargo ships and the Queen Mary just outside of the shot here.
You mean the Queen Mary hasn't sunk yet?
It has not. But no, I think this place is interesting. You and I, just before the race, we were talking about the last time we ran here where we did split races. And tonight, we're going to put it all out there, put everybody into the field at the same time. I think that's the right move, but I think it could create some traffic fun.
Some traffic and some mayhem. Yeah, when we
it'll be entertaining.
It's going to be nothing but entertaining, Larry. So when we were here the last time, it was season 2 years ago. We, rather than running a 75-minute race, we actually split the GT cars up from the prototype cars and gave them each a 40-minute race of their own. Tonight it is 75 minutes interclass racing, and we've got our GTP, our GT3 Pro, and GT3 AM drivers. Right now, about 27 of them were in practice earlier, and they're going to be heading out for qualifying here in just a moment. But Larry, let's do this. Before we go to the on-track action here for the 15-minute qualifying session, let's turn things over to Kevin Ford. He's going to give us tonight's track guide of the Long Beach Grand Prix circuit.
Opportunity here as we head up towards turn 6. This will be another heavy brake zone. There'll be a slight corner after 6 here as the track bends back. Welcome, everyone, to Long Beach Street Circuit. Great to have you with us as we provide you your track guide today around this incredible road course here in beautiful sunny Long Beach, California. Well, let's get started as we head up the front straightaway here on East Shoreline Drive. You'll notice our pit area to the right and our main grandstands to the left as we go across the stripe and head up this very fast front straight. Drivers will be picking up a lot of speed as they head down into turn 1 here. Our pit exit to the right there. And then heavy braking as we make our entry through the apex of 1. Immediately after that, we're going to set up our entry into the fountain section. A very tight, twisting little area around those gardens. No time to sightsee, got to stay on task. Through turn 4, around the wall here, down into this very tight entry of 5 that opens up and gives you your first overtaking opportunity here as we head up towards turn 6. This will be another heavy brake zone. There'll be a slight corner after 6 here as the track bends back to the left on the streets here for turn 7 and then ultimately down into turn 8. Very tight exit here, but this will take you out onto one of the fastest sections of the course here, East Seaside Way. Another big overtaking opportunity here coming down into turn 9. This does get a little bit tight on exit, so drivers are going to have to watch because they've got to track right back to the left to set up that entry heading down into turn 10 here, and then ultimately back for 11, that tight hairpin to the right, and then right back to throttle and up through the gears as we head towards that stripe once again. There you go. There's your track guide for the beautiful and very fast Long Beach Street Circuit.
And thanks so much to Kevin Ford for tonight's track guide and a half from the Long Beach Grand Prix circuit, Larry, here in beautiful Long Beach, California, as we have our drivers now heading out for their 15-minute lone qualifying session where we give each of our drivers 4 opportunities to set a fast lap to set tonight's grid for this 75-minute run to the checkered flag. And they're already getting underway. Most of them are starting their outlaps here on what is really a very challenging circuit.
Yeah, it absolutely is. It's got to be one of the most challenging, just given that there's camber changes, there's bumps, there's walls, there's that ridiculous hairpin that we're watching them go through. It is so tight. I swear it's hand over hand to get the car to actually roll through it. You've got that opening section here where we're on board with Yago Moraes going around this fountain where you just can't see anything. You mentioned concrete canyons. It's really what this place is. And then you've got all the bumps that come around down here at this end of the track as they transition from one surface back to a concrete. And it is a very challenging place to get the setup right, and then it's going to be challenging to race here for 75 minutes. I think this is going to be an interesting evening.
Yeah, there are only those one for sure, maybe two distinct passing zones that our drivers are going to have, and I'm just waiting. I'm waiting as if it's going to be the 405, the down from Los Angeles to Long Beach. There's going to be that pile up at the hairpin some point tonight. I'm just waiting for it to happen. All right, so here, as we've got our drivers heading out, and we're going to get some times here in just a few moments, we'll give you a little bit of a primer, as we do each week here. Amongst the three classes, I think you can pretty much pick out the GTP cars, the prototype cars, from the GT3 cars. But the GT3 cars, we've got two different categories. We've got the pro drivers and we've got the AM drivers. Our pro drivers, much like as we take a look here at Iago Mores in his Lamborghini, currently our fastest pro driver on track, and he appears to be on the pit lane. Tell you what, let's look over at Dean Dibdahl, who's our second fastest driver right now in pro. The pro drivers, they've got red mirrors, red number boards, red windshield banners, and end plates on their wings, whereas the AM category drivers, much like, let's see if we can pick out one of our AM drivers now. Or, we don't have to. We can just stay. There we go. Let's move over to Dre Divock. The AM category drivers will have green number boards, green mirrors, green windshield banners, and green end plates on their wings. So that should be the easiest way. And when you take a look at the timing tower on the left-hand side of your screen, obviously we're breaking it down by class for you, but you can also see that in their positioning, the pros, much like the cars in red, and the AM, much like their cars, in green. The GTPs, the prototype cars, the BMW M8 machines, they will be running in blue. All right, so let's take a look here, Larry, as our drivers are starting qualifying here. And we've got a few folks that have already put in more than one flying lap, but let's take a quick look back to 2 weeks ago when these drivers were at the National Park of Speed at Road America, and taking the win in GT3 AM for the SCCA Foundation and StreetSurvival.org. Jeff Jacobs with Baron Glover in the Glass Pro Esport machine coming home in second. Jacobs in his Mercedes AMG GT3, Glover in his Ferrari 488. Mark Feil from Glass Pro Esport finished in third position, and great run for him with Dominic Angelico for the wrong stuff, finishing fourth, Greg Brockway fifth. And if we take a look at the point standings now in AM, Baron Glover with 3 wins is currently your points leader. He has 104 points. He is 7 points up on Jeff Jacobs currently. Dre Divock in his Porsche 911, the wrong stuff Porsche, is only 7 points back from Jacobs in third. So really tight running there in the top 3. Another 8 points back to Greg Brockway from Frito Sport. And then Flying Tortoise Motorsports, Russ Ruddick, another 12 points back from there. And then it starts to get really tight in the middle of that AM category field, as we've got tonight. And we've got one more race after tonight when all of our drivers head to Sebring in just a couple of weeks. If we take a look at Pro, taking the win, and I believe this may have been her very first win in the World Challenge from BTL Motorsports, driving her BMW M4 GT3, was Jennifer McDonald with Chris Thorman from D2D eRacing coming home in second. Chris from D2D eRacing driving his Lamborghini Huracan. Then Steve Daniel from SKKJ Racing came home in third in his BMW M4 GT3. Mike, and this was probably the biggest surprise of all, Mike Dam, who started on the outside of the front row. He finished fourth, with Iago Mores coming home in fifth. And perhaps the biggest surprise, Travis Schwenke, our pole sitter, at Road America, was only able to manage 7th position. And if we take a look at the standings now after 5 of 7 rounds, that 7th place finish hasn't hurt Travis Schwenke all that much. He still sits atop the point standings with a 15-point advantage over his teammate Mike Dam, both of those drivers from Orion Racing driving their BMW M4 GT3s. Then Jennifer McDonald from BTL Motorsport. She's 6 points back behind Mike Dam, currently 3rd in the championship with Yago Mori's Chris Thorman, and then Dean Dibdahl sitting back in 6th position, a fairly distant 6th there, as you can see, with 89 points and definitely under pressure right now from David Payton. All right, so let's move over to GTP, where we've got Paulo Kui Grant, who's currently sitting atop the timing tower there in qualifying, and having completed his 4 flying laps, had missed a couple of weeks, and we knew ahead of time that he might not be able to run for the entire championship after taking 3 wins to start off the season. He turned things over to Shane Larson from the Wrong Stuff driver, the number 17 GTP machine, who took the win at Road America. And margin of victory here, Larry, I'm not even going to go by times. I'm going to go by laps. 7 laps over Mayforce Racing's Stephen May, who finished 2nd. Leadpaw Racing's Marlon Jones, another 11 laps back from there. So not all that close in GTP, with Shane Larson the only driver on the lead lap at the end of our 90-minute race there, with Tom Pichette and Marcel Leclerc 4th and 5th.
Shane definitely made full use out of a couple of weeks or the events that Paulo Kui Grant did not be able to make it there. But what we end up having, as you showed in the points, a very tight points battle now, with actually Larson leading the way and a couple of rounds left. And if you look at our qualifying times, those two are just about 2/10 apart.
Yeah, they are as close to dead even here.
This is going to be a great race between two, where it was an early season that belonged to Grant, and so far this middle part of the season belonged to Larson. 2 rounds to go. Let's just see who's got it to come into the championship. But this can be a lot of fun between these two.
Yeah, indeed. So let's take a look at the point standings now after 5 rounds, where Paulo Kui Grant has 3 wins, Shane Larson has 2 wins, and the margin right now separating them, even though he's got 1 fewer win, Shane Larson with 144 points to 141 for Grant. Marlon Jones from Leadpaw is another 14 points back from there with 127, another 5 back to Stephen May from Mayforce Racing, and then Tom Pichette. And we'll have to see if Mr. Pichette is available yet. He is. Tom Pichette, Larry, let's bring him in and talk to him. He is the driver of the number 34 Purple Sector Motorsports GTP machine. He's our pre-race guest.
All right, Tom Pichette has joined us. Tom, looks like you had a chance to get your qualifying laps in. What do you think of Long Beach so far?
Well, I love this track. It's always a fun time coming here. So I'm just glad I was able to at least put a lap on the board. It's a tough track for sure.
It is. Yeah, in fact, you may be one of the few people that ever say they love this place, but I'm glad you have that positive attitude about this. Going into it, I guess a positive attitude of a track like this tonight, do you think that it benefits you with a 75-minute race to be able to go through these concrete canyon walls with minimal mistakes? Does it help to kind of have a positive attitude and not go into this negative at all?
Oh, absolutely. This track takes so much concentration to drive, especially with multi-class racing here. So if you enjoy it and it's not, a chore, doesn't feel like a chore, I think it's definitely easier to race here. It's definitely easier to be more patient when you're, already frustrated. So I think that'll hopefully give me an advantage tonight, but we'll see.
But looking at, I think this is your first season here at the Ricmotech series, if I got that right. What are your thoughts so far? As we're about 5 or 6 rounds into this, what do you think?
Oh, well, it's been great fun. I think Grant and Larson are pretty much untouchable at this point in the season. Kudos to them. They've been having some awesome races. But I've really enjoyed it, and I think the respect shown between the classes this season has been amazing. Really makes the racing a lot of fun and helps add that strategy into the race. So hoping I can keep it clean for the next 2 races. I've had a few retirements this season, so looking forward to this round and hopefully next round as well, keeping it on the track the whole time.
Well, you're actually in a bit of a points battle there. If you look at where the third, fourth, fifth place, I think you're currently in fifth. Are you going to be watching where those guys are? You've got you're in coming into this in fifth. Stephen Mays in fourth. Marlon Jones in third. About 7 points between them. Are you keeping an eye on where they are and trying to make sure you come in ahead of them?
I absolutely am. Unfortunately, Marlon wasn't able to join us for the race tonight, so don't have to worry about him. But Steven has had some fantastic finishes the second half of the season, and actually in the first race as well. So tough competition. Definitely will be watching out for them. And when Marlon joins us again next week, I think it'll be a battle to the finish for the last podium position this season.
I think you're absolutely right. I'm looking forward to that, but I'm really looking forward to tonight and seeing if positive pays off. So, Tom, anybody you want to give a shout out to while you have a chance?
Well, I want to shout out the boys and girls of Purple Sector Motorsports, the team, for supporting me and cheering me on tonight. So thanks, everyone, for joining.
Well, awesome. Good luck, Tom. Have a good race, and maybe with any luck, we'll have a chance to talk to you in about 75 minutes.
All right. Thanks so much.
All right, there you go. Tom Bichette, driver of the number 34 Purple Sector Motorsports BMW M Hybrid V8. And great to see new blood here in the World Challenge, Larry. And you said it is definitely close running there for third right now in the championship, and still 2 rounds left.
Yeah, so far he's ahead of the rest of that field. So you got the Grant Larson sort of on another level right now, but Tom Bichette there you can see third with a full second. Yeah, and he's a second ahead of May, a couple seconds ahead of Guillaume. He's in a good position, and I do love that positive attitude coming into a challenging night like this to have to be perfect for so many laps in a row. I think having a positive attitude can take you a long way.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Well, so, Larry, one of the other things that are as qualifying here is getting close to wrapping up. I think most of our drivers now, a few exceptions, have put in their 4 flying laps. Another thing to be positive about is our brand new sponsor this season, and that is Butt Kicker. And Butt Kicker is offering up an amazing prize to one of our drivers here this season in the World Challenge. They are offering a Butt Kicker Gamer Plus unit that's valued at $280 and includes the unit itself, a power amp, all the cables and accessories you could need, as well as the all-important instructions for idiot savants like myself who would probably need help getting it all set up. And the way we're giving it out, Larry, not just to a class winner, but we're going to have the equivalent of a raffle at the end of the season. And the more points you accumulate over the course of the season by doing well in your races, the more tickets in the hat you get, the better chance you have to win that prize at the end of the season. But all of our drivers, they are eligible as long as I believe they have to have run. I'll have to double check this. I believe they had to run at least 2 races, but I'll double check that, Larry. So we have our racers. They are now lining up on the grid, and we are getting ready to go racing here from Long Beach. And your pole sitter for the evening is Palakui Grant. He's picking up where he left off 3 races ago. Shane Larson is going to start right beside him on the outside of row number 1 from the Wrong Stuff Racing. Tom Bichette, who we just spoke to here, is going to be your on the inside of row number 2 for Purple Sector Motorsports, with Stephen May from Mayforce Racing starting in 4th. Then we've got Brandon Guillot. He is going to round out the GTP field for, can I say this, Aztec Racing. All right, so let's take a look at your GT3 field, Larry, where we've got Iago Mores. He's your pole sitter in the number 9 Lamborghini, with Travis Schwenke starting right next to him in 2nd in the Orion Racing number 16 machine. Then we've got Mike Dam and Dean Dibdahl. They are going to make up row number 2. Then Dre Divock and Chris Thorman. Divock is your GT3 AM pole sitter, with Thorman starting next to him in 6th. Then we've got Baron Glover and Brennan Horan starting 2nd and 3rd in AM. They are going to make up row, well, let's see, it looks like row number 4.
All right, so we've got, you left off with, I missed that.
I left off with, I think Chris Thorman, I believe.
All right, so behind Thorman, we've got Baron Glover will be lined up with Brennan Horan They're on row 5. On row 6, Bobby Childs is back with a vengeance. He'll be back there with Jeff Jacobs lined up alongside him. Steve Daniel always finds himself in battles with Jacobs. Looks like they're even going to grid that way. Behind Daniel, so you got David Payton from D2D Racing, and then you got Elias Alabi. Then you got Leonardo Dragota, Dominic Angelicio, Edgar Sancinelli, Russ Ruddick. And let's queue up the start here of the GTPs.
All right, Larry, as they come out of the hairpin now and waiting for that real-life starter to give the green flag, and green flag is in the air, and we are underway as Shane Larson and Palakui Grant make the run down towards turn 1, and jumping out to a very early lead is Shane Larson, with Palakui Grant running in second, Stephen May dropping in the third, then Pichette and Guillot as we have our second packet. Looks like Shane Larson, our leader, has gone around, Larry, coming out of the oh my gosh, out of turn 1.
Yeah, unbelievable. He'll spin there in turn 1. Are we already going caution here?
Yeah, it looks, Larry, like we may be going to a full course caution already.
Wow. I guess they were concerned that perhaps Larson's spin was going to create a bit of a backlog for the GT3 field. You can see there, yeah, just as he turned in for 1, maybe a little bit of a brake lock up in the rear. Cold tires. These cars suffer from cold tires. And you were seeing how Palakui Grant was going a bit conservative. I think he was anticipating the cold tires. A little bit of aggression there for Shane. Lucky for him, I don't think he made any contact, so he'll be able to catch the back of that field. But, wow, what a crazy start.
Yeah, just amazingly crazy there. And so without the start here in, technically the race has started for GT3, and I'm getting word as to whether or not they are going to have a double file restart. I believe, given the situation, that they'll likely have a double file start there. I think it's going to be even more difficult to try and get them in line to have a single file start, but we'll check in on them in just a moment and see exactly where they stand and what's going to happen. All right, so let's take a look, Larry. I think we've got the replay here, and we'll see exactly what happened to Shane Larson, who jumped out from that early lead.
Yep, just looks like he broke late, maybe locked a front, and just decided it was better to bail to the access road rather than continue and try and push through into 1. Probably a smart move, save the car, but because of that, I think the field, they decided was best to just hold back for 1 more lap, and let's do this again. In fact, it looks like, are they regridding?
Larry, it looks to me as though they're gonna restart here, and I don't know what
back on the front row.
Yeah, I don't know what the story is here. Well, I'm sure we'll get.
Yeah, we'll have to get a word from
the prototypes have just now been given the green flag, Larry, and they are underway. And looked as though Iago Mores was almost right into the back of the prototypes as they came out of the hairpin here. So let's take a look on try number 2, going down into turn number 1, where once again Shane Larson has the lead. And it looks like we are now underway with GT3 race as well, as they've got the green flag with Iago Mores on the pole to the inside, and that blue and red Lamborghini to the outside is Travis Schwenke in the BMW. And as they go down into turn 1, might have been a little bit of contact there as Mores gets into the back of Travis Schwenke. The number 16 machine goes around and drops back towards the rear of the field. And that is going to move Dean Dipdahl up into second, Mike Dam into third. And Larry, we're having, it looks like...
that was Pichette.
Yeah.
It's Pichette now into the pits already.
And full course caution again, Larry.
Wow, they're calling this one a virtual safety car, I believe. So they're going to do safety car speeds, but maintain the gaps, primarily there between the GTPs and the GT3 fields. But wow, 2 laps in and just absolute chaos still is trying to sort things out. We do know is Larson and Grant are now still at 1-2 with Guillot and May moving up behind them, with Tom Pichette in the pits potentially for repairs.
Yeah, and we've gotten word of that the pit lane is closed, Larry, and so Tom Pichette, who had made his way to the pit lane already, is there getting repairs, and hopefully we'll be able to see what happened to him, as we now have, as we can see here, that the GT3 field is now packing up right back behind Brandon, I believe, Stephen May has actually taken his car into the pit lane, Larry, the number 50 machine. And so let's take a look and see exactly what happened to Bichette here.
Well, there's Bichette in the purple with the white trim, and the car got a little bit loose, and he hits that wall hard, and then looks like gathered. I'm assuming that would be
Yeah, I
May
think that was the 50
gathers.
of Stephen May
Yep.
that got into him as they were coming out of turn 5 on the West Shoreline Drive. And so now both of these drivers are on the pit lane. And we can see the GT3 machines have gotten right up back, and I don't think it's going to matter that much when they go green, but the GT3 field now right back behind our GTP field as we are now working lap number 3 under full course caution here.
I also see Patrick Preventis from our GT3 field has made his way into the pits. We'll have to see what that is all about. And as we know, Travis Schwenke, who had started this race up quite a few places, has got himself down at the back of this rolling field in the GT3. So
yeah, he's showing us the last car on track currently right now, running 23rd overall, 8th in pro, a 6th and basically 16th among the GT3 cars as he had started off on the outside of the front row, and looks like both he and Moraes had gotten together going into turn number 1.
Trying to see if there's any more admin calls. I'm sure we'll get an update here from the stewards in a minute. But looks like pit lane entrances are reopened. So we'll see if they do one more lap under the caution before going back. As you can see the front of the field there coming down the East Seaside Way.
All right, so Larry, let's take a look here. As we're on board, I believe we're on board with Iago Moraes. This is going down into turn 1.
Oh,
and there you go. There's the contact with the left rear of the number 16 machine. That put Moraes around. It looks like it had put one of our D2D machines around, and it
might have been Bobby
really stacked
Childs.
up the field there.
Yeah, I think that was Bobby Childs' Ferrari that had gone around, as he's also dropped a bunch of places.
Yeah, we can see Childs back now 7th in pro, and as we mentioned, so we saw Moraes go around. I'm still showing Moraes, and we can see him in the line there.
He's still at the front.
He's at the front, which I thought was a little odd given that he had gone around.
No, we're going to wait and see what happens to him. We know that Schwenke is still rolling, but at the back of the field, he and Bobby Childs are the last two cars moving out on track. Robert Brist actually is not joining the session, so it is just Bobby Childs, Travis Schwenke, the last two. But yes, with Iago Moraes still at the front of this group, we'll have to wait and see what they decide to do, if there's any blame to be placed there for that contact with Travis Schwenke on the opening corner.
All right, so again, we are under full course caution here at Long Beach with Shane Larson, your current leader in GTP, with Paulo Cui Grant running second, Brandon Guillot in third, and the other two cars in that GTP field currently sitting on the pit lane. That's Stephen May and Tom Bichette. In GT3 Pro, Iago Moraes for the time being is your leader, with Dean Dibdahl second, Mike Dam third, Chris Thorman in fourth, and David Payton a very distant fifth position, as he has 5 GT3 AM drivers just ahead of him. Brendan Horn is your leader, with Dre Divock second, Baron Glover third, Elias Alabi and Jeff Jacobs your top 5 in AM.
Just listening in on the race control. They are going to give some gap to the prototypes. Single file restart. We'll see if there's then any penalties to be given. I suspect that if they have any to give, they're going to wait till it goes green to issue those.
Yeah, the last thing they want is to have somebody dumping into the pits to serve the penalty before they go green.
Yeah. Yep, so they're just directing the head of the GT3 field to back up, give some gap to those 3 of the remaining GTPs, which would be Larson, Grant, and Guillot. Iago Moraes leading the field of GT3s is now about 15 seconds back or so. We'll do another split start. We'll do it again as a single file restart, and there you can see also it looks like the incident involving 9 and 16, which is Moraes and Schwenke, is under review.
All right, Shane Larson now bringing the field through turns 9 and 10.
I wish we had these race stewards, and my split of the Sebring 12-hour last weekend would have gone a lot more smooth than it did.
Smoothly.
These guys are doing a good job here.
All right, so of course, besides the live starter, we've got live stewards here controlling the race, and here we go. Green flag once again. Palagui Grant taking a quick look to driver's right, and Larson not having any of it as they make the run now down towards turn 1 for the 3rd time at speed here, and the green flag now given to our GT3 field as well. And look at the the lead there. The Morris. Yeah, Dean Dibdahl, I wouldn't say he was asleep at the wheel, but he's got a huge pack behind him now with a gap of almost a full second as they come down into turn number 1 and going deep on the brakes, very deep on the brakes. I believe that was Chris Thorman coming underneath Dre Divock there.
I'm not sure if it was or if it was Leonardo Dragata in one of the portions.
Well, actually, I think you're right. I think he got around David Payton in the Lamborghini going down into turn 1, very deep on the brakes there. As we look now at split screen with our 2 fields with GTP to the left, GT3 to the right, and a great little battle going on right now here as we do watch. Looks like
Thorman just cracked into the wall there as Brennan Horn and Dre Divock were sort of figuring out positioning. Thorman slowing down quickly as Divock and Horn get around him. Horn right now looks like he might be the quickest of them here on the early polar tire setup.
Sorry, and a little bit further back from there, we watch now coming down into turn number 9, Leonardo Dragata and David Payton. As we go back now to our battle for the lead with Shane Larson and Grant.
A quick update on Yago Mores was given a penalty, a restart violation is what they're saying. Drive-through penalty he's been issued, so he'll have to serve that. Interesting that they're calling it a restart violation, considering there was also the contact that between he and Travis Schwenke that is. Maybe they're still working on adjudicating that one. He may be seeing multiple penalties. He might be a rough night here for Yago Mores.
Yeah, well, so interestingly enough, we saw that start from Mores, and I don't know if he thought, well, maybe if I back it up a little bit, nobody will notice, but Dibdahl and Dam are right back up with him now.
Yes, they are. So we'll have to see, as he's going to have to serve a penalty anyway. I don't think they're going to retract that based on him saying, "Oops, sorry." We'll have to wait and see how that goes. There is one of the Dragatas trying to get around a lobby. I believe that is Leo Dragata. Yep. He looks like he's the quick one here so far. Already made his way around Peyton, all the way around a lobby. As he ducks inside there, going around turn 10, heading to the infamous hairpin at 11.
Yeah, as Leo had those issues, I think on lap 1 at Road America 2 weeks ago, coming through the kink that kicked off a series of flying cars down and out of the kink there, but much better early laps for him here today as we're watching Yago Mores, Dean Dibdahl, and Mike Dam.
So we know that Mores is going to be given a penalty, so I think what I'm seeing here is he's given a drive-through penalty for the restart violation, which we saw him jump the start. That is separate from the contact between he and Travis Schwenke. That is now posted as incident responsibility 5-second post-race, as that is Jeff Jacobs parked across the track there. I think, is that down in turn 1?
That is coming out of the fountain area, Larry. Or is that coming into the fountain? No, that is at turn 1. No, you're right. That is coming through turn 1 before the fountain. So that is going to drop Jacobs now back to 11th in AM.
Yeah. And Travis Schwenke making his way through the field, taking vastly different lines than a lot of the other drivers. Now again, Travis Schwenke, I believe he had said he was on pole for this. Yes. One of the quickest drivers in the field. Picking his way through traffic is going to be interesting to watch because this is a track where lots of variety of lines tend to come through. And so you can use different ones to get different speeds. So he might be able to have opportunities to pass around that 6, 7, 8 section as they're now going through 10 and into 11. There's Yago Mores serving his drive-through. And I got to tell you, short of Road America, this might be the longest pit lane anywhere. This place is like a mile long.
And probably the most difficult pit lane entry as well.
So you know how long it is from the hairpin at 11 to turn 1. pit lane is the exact same length. You literally will pull off of 11 straight off to between the walls into the pit lane.
Right to that end of that double yellow line that we just saw there.
Pit out basically is turn in at once, so that's a long penalty to serve.
All right, and Paulo Grant now on the pit lane, and I'm not sure what the reasoning is behind here. We didn't expect to see any of the GTP cars to pit in until maybe lap 24. So coming in on lap number 8, and maybe he's got some damage as well that Paulo Grant has to take care of. But at this point, that leaves just Shane Larson and Brandon Guillot as your only 2 GTP drivers that are still on the race course.
It might have been Patrick Provenus finally pulling back out onto the track just as Grant was pulling in, so we'll have to wait and see.
All right, let's take a look and see exactly what happened to Paulo Grant here as he's coming down under braking. This is down over to turn 9.
Oh, that's gonna hurt.
Yeah, that'll do it.
These are very long cars. We were talking about this before the broadcast on the air about how long this car is, even relative to the LMP2s at Dallara P217s we ran here the last time the World Challenge came to Long Beach. This car is even longer. It's about 100 millimeters or maybe about 4 inches longer in wheelbase, and it's about a foot longer overall in the body, about 300 millimeters. Unbelievable how big this car is to lug around here. So if you don't get that front end to bite in corners like 9, which tend to push anyway, it's just going to push out right into the wall, just like you saw with Grant. It's a lot of car to muscle through these little streets.
All right, we're watching right now battle. We've got Russ Ruddick in that green and white number 95 BMW, Edgar Sancinelli in the Ferrari directly behind, and then Bobby Childs in his Ferrari, the 95 machine, is currently running 7th in AM with Sancinelli. That is a battle for position in class. Sancinelli currently running 8th. Bobby Childs right behind him in the number 88 D2D eRacing Ferrari, currently sitting 5th and in Pro. He's trying to leapfrog these 2 AM drivers to get up to Steve Daniel in his number 96 BMW. And there's Travis Schwenke right behind that.
That's Bobby right in front of
that 3, yeah.
Bobby with the damage there on the right side. You can see from his turn 1 incident, 2 of them trying to get their way around the 57 of Sancinelli, and then they've got an element of one of the GTPs right behind them.
Coming down the outside right now, and I believe
is that May?
That's May, I believe. No, May is back out on track, and May's back out. Tom Pichette now is, I believe, our only GTP car still on the pit lane.
Probably Grant is still serving his
except for Grant. Yes, exactly. Yeah, so May now a number of laps down, almost 7 laps down from our leader, Shane Larson.
Steve Daniel now howling in the back of one of the Dragotas. That is the 119 Lucas. Steve Daniel, a little bit of a battle with him as they're trying to chase down in front of them a couple seconds the battles of Leo Dragota, Elias Alavi, and David Payton. But right now, Daniel doing everything he can in that BMW to get by as they move on by to let one of our GTPs on through. Not easy to pass around this place.
No, and yeah, by the time the GTP cars get spooled up, if they're not using a lot of that electric motor there, we saw it took almost half of East Seaside Way in order for them to get up enough speed to get by those 2 GT3 machines.
I tell you what, that Porsche, as you'd expect, plants really well coming off of the corners off that here. There's David Payton.
All right, David Payton now coming down the pit lane as well. And Larry, I'm getting reports that he may have had the same affliction coming through turn 9.
He's got that left side damage. Let's check a replay of this. There he is coming down that short straightaway East Seaside Way, and the back end hits before the front, and that'll throw the rear toe off by a little bit.
Yeah, you know, you see what the effects of that apex curbing does. And it really is shown, if you hit it wrong, the rear end will just lift up on these very stiffly sprung cars.
You have to use it because you have to cut the corner. But you're right. If you hit it wrong, now especially if you haven't quite started the turn, if the weight hasn't transferred yet when you get on it, it's not going to.
Right.
And it's going to smack to that wall on the outside. Interesting there, a little radio call. It sounded like from Sancinelli to Travis Schwenke saying, "Go ahead on by," realizing the faster car Schwenke wasn't going to be needing to be behind him for much longer. So there's Schwenke going on by. As our race leader in GT3, Dean Dibdahl, protecting his tires, his father would say.
I was just going to say, for as long as his tires hold out tonight, Larry.
He looks like he's doing just fine on those tires so far, taking it easy. He's got the seasoned veteran Mike Dam right behind him. There you can see just about a second back, just enough room to, just in case something happens up in front. Dam's got himself plenty of time to make a reaction. You can see Dean's cat there looking along his profile shot. What if the cat's watching?
And this is, we thought that his crew chief was restricted from uploading the hero photos and hero card information from here on out, but I guess not. So Larry, from testing during the week. We know that in GT3 they had made some changes to the tire compounds so that they would normally last maybe a single stint. And the reports that we're getting from practice is that there was rather extreme tire wear for most of the different chassis in GT3. Oh, as we have, looks like going around, that is Halabi in the number 7 Porsche.
He's trying to get out of there, but
he's in a bad spot.
Yes, he is. Yeah. He is a meme right now, trying to get out of there with the back and forth 100 times. Looks like he has. Just before. Right
before Brockway and Jacobs go by, and it looked as though Brockway and Jacobs may have seen the yellow flag and had checked up just a little bit. They came through there, I think, with a little bit less pace than we saw some of the other vehicles earlier on. So that is now going to drop Halabi back down to 10th position in AM.
Paying attention to that yellow that does come up if there's a slow car ahead is a big deal here at Long Beach. Often your spotter will say slow car on the right or something, and you'll know if you just decide to just go full bore and don't lift, you could probably cause a much bigger wreck.
All right, so let's take a look here as we go on board with Iago Mores, Larry.
Iago just squeezing between there. First man on the scene. Was able to get on by Mores, currently 6th in GT3 Pro after serving his drive-through penalty. And again, he's got a 5-second post-race he'll have to deal with. He's got 30-second current down that he's down. Look at this. As Leo Dragata, I believe that is, holding off Travis Schwenke. That's Lucas, actually.
It's Lucas. As he holds off the 16. Now, remember, Travis Schwenke had fallen all the way back to 23rd overall. He is now back up into, now as he gets by Dragata coming out of turn 9, going into turn 10, Schwenke is now 9th overall. And Larry, he's not all that far back from where he started this race. And I think I'd agreed with you that he started on the pole. He actually started on the outside of the front row today.
He is 7th in the GT3s, but you can see right there on the standings, Travis up to 3rd in Pro, about 23 seconds or so down from young Dibdahl and Mike Dam. But don't count them out. We've still got almost an hour of racing left here, as well as pit stops to manage. And Travis has been the man to beat this year. So we'll see if he's got the pace here tonight to make a move through the field.
All right, as we're watching now the Italian battle here, we've got the two teammates. Looks like there is the 13 machine of Baron Glover and getting by. Let's see, which is the
Dragota?
Yeah, Dragota. No, Dragota's right there behind him. The other Ferrari, and I think that was Halabi. Probably not Halabi. I'm sorry. It was Brockway.
29 of Proventus.
Yeah. Oh, Proventus, yeah.
Yep.
I'm fired.
Alabi's in the Porsche.
That's right. Now you tell me.
All right, as it looks like
I'm a disaster. All right.
Big traffic jam right now down Shoreline Drive. So you get the 57 of Sancinelli, the 95 of Ruddock, in the BMW and the Ferrari there, and Bobby Childs chasing those two down.
Yeah, and both Sancinelli and Ruddock now making up ground on Lucas Dragata. For all that time that Dragata was trying to hold off Travis Schwenke, it really brought him back to the rest of this pack here. And, you know, as it stands, it's Ruddock and Sancinelli that are in line, you know, for a position in class, as Dragata is running currently 5th with Ruddock 6th and Sancinelli 7th. It's not back until you go behind Sancinelli to Bobby Childs, who's going to be having to run this race with a lot of damage to that Ferrari, Larry. That can't be good for his speed. He's currently sitting 5th in pro, right behind Sancinelli.
Doesn't look like it's hurting him too badly, although he's going to have an angry Yaga Mores on his tail right about now. As you can see, Mores right there at the tail of this pack after finally catching him. Mores was doing 120.2 while this pack was doing high 21. So that's about to change as this pack. You can look at that traffic coming down.
Yeah, I was going to say that's going to change assuming Mores can find a way through, but I think more importantly right now, coming around the outside
Larson coming through.
Yeah, is our leader Shane Larson trying to pick and choose where he can get through the field. And Bobby Child taking a quick look to the inside on Edgar Sancinelli.
Yeah, so a couple of things to get caught up on. It does look like a warning was first given to 7 Elias Alabi for his unsafe re-entry after spinning his Porsche. We saw him trying to reassert himself on the track. They did give him a warning for that, but then he's been given a drive-through penalty for responsibility in unavoidable contact with the 62 of Brockway. So, a couple of things for him to serve, as it is pretty crazy here in the stewards room tonight.
Yeah. All right, it sounds like that avoidable contact, Larry, may have just been changed to a 5-second penalty post-race.
Lots of tools in the tool belt here for the stewards, as well. That's Shane Larson getting the point by from Travis Schwenke.
I was just going to say, Schwenke's looking awfully slow right now. I don't know what he slowed down for, and then I realized that it's our GTP leader that's passing.
One BMW on another, yeah. The LMDHs are a little bit faster, as Bobby Childs may have finally decided the damage just wasn't worth continuing. Maybe he's going to try and take some repairs.
All right, let's
maybe
take
he's got a lot of repairs. Let's see if this
it looks like Bobby may have had some more issues here, as he was trying to find a way around Ruddock and Sancinelli.
Decided to go through Ruddock instead. And Russ probably did not appreciate that. A little locker room tapping behind probably was not what he was expecting.
All right, so that puts Bobby Childs, and Childs has now left the pits and is back underway, but finds himself now sitting down far down in the order. Here is he is sitting now down in 20th position overall, 6th in pro.
Just kind of keep an eye on that gap too, as well as for Travis Schwenke, who's making his way through the field. As Dibdall continued to pull away from Mike Dam, but Schwenke now less than 22 seconds back, and now less than 20 seconds back, depending on the refresh there. So he is the quickest car in the field, running in the 119s around here right now. So do not count Travis Schwenke out of this quite yet. No, certainly not. And Larry, can I just express my I don't know about surprise, but Dre Divock right now has been hanging to the back bumper of Mike Dam more or less since the beginning of this race, and currently running as our leader in AM, and just sitting right under the wing of that BMW here as we see them come down out of the hairpin and onto the front straight to start lap number 19. Great run for him so far, but I wonder, Larry, as we typically see from the Orion drivers, from Dam, from Schwenke, and when he's here, Robert Hartley, they seem to have a keen eye towards, as we have another driver that has gone It's a
around.
lobby again.
Yeah, it's been a rough night for the Porsche of Elias Alabi. But they seem to have a very good handle on pit strategy, whether they're running in pairs, or whether they're running all three of them together, or even as they're running alone. And I wonder how much of this right now is not necessarily Mike Dam not having the pace, and more that Mike Dam is looking to eke out a couple of extra seconds on the pit lane.
Possibly, and so he's just sort of biding his time. It's a good gap to be back as well. You don't usually have to worry about too much extra tire wear with any sort of odd arrow across the front. You also get an extra moment or two in case some incident happens. You have a moment or two to react, so it's good for him. But really, I do. You're mentioning about Dre Divock and how he's having such a good start to this as well, leading in the AM class. But Brennan Horan, you can see right there, all four. You've got the 2 leaders in Pro and the 2 leaders in AM, right in a nice line down Shoreline Drive right now.
Yeah, and it is almost another, I think, close to 11 seconds back to Baron Glover in 3rd in AM right now, and even and as we mentioned, Schwenke, who's up to 3rd in Pro, even further back, about 20 seconds off of Dibdall and Dam. So it gives both of these pairs a lot of options there, where they don't necessarily have to put a lot of emphasis and worry about those drivers that are sitting 3rd in each class.
Yeah, it makes, though, these pit stops will be interesting because obviously each pair cares more about their own race than the other pair. But if somehow in the pits things get a little bit mixed up, no one's going to want to be giving up spots. And, those pit stops could be happening any time now. It depends on what these guys decide. If they come up with any kind of a traffic situation, they might just dive right in. So we'll keep our eyes open for that.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, the pit lane window for the GT3 cars is just opened up. It's actually a pretty large window, Larry, anywhere between lap 19 and lap 38 for the GTP cars here this evening. So they can conceivably go quite a bit longer here this evening, whereas the GTP cars window should be opening up in about 2 laps for them. And again, also a much larger window than we've seen with some of the other races this season. Seeing that the window in GTP anywhere between laps 24 and 39, based on what we saw from these drivers during practice this week.
So that right there is our leader in the race, Shane Larson, leader in GTP, of course. He's got a gap of over a minute now on Brendan Guillot. Larson's biggest enemy right now might just be traffic, as you can see him buzzing through some traffic. Here he's got Craig Brockway there in front of him. It's about picking your opportunities, being careful. As you can see him trying to just be careful until after the hairpin here. Smart move.
And turning in very, very late in order to get underneath before Brockway. As we jump back, this is Leonardo Dragata, and this is the battle for 3rd in AM, with Dragata and Baron Glover just ahead.
Yeah, it's a good little battle going on here between these two in the Porsche and the Ferrari. Is that a little bit of a wall rub there for Glover? It was awfully close.
Yeah, looked as though it was.
He was close, as Glover, of course, leading the AM points coming into tonight. And the Dragatas, they've had their ups and downs. Good to see them in a battle here for Leo. Lucas back there in 10th overall in the GT3s, just 5th in the AM class.
Glover came off his second place finish at Road America 2 weeks ago, and as you mentioned, currently sitting in the catbird seat in AM with 5 out of the 7 rounds.
He is,
complete.
but yeah, he's in that position. Jeff Jacobs is in second. Now Jacobs, we know, has had his issues here tonight, not really contending right now. 3rd is Divock, 4th Brockway, 5th Ruddock, and then you got Leo Dragata right currently in 6th. The Divock, though, right now leading this would really shake the points up if he can hang on. We're a long ways away from this, but I love speculation. Baron Glover, though, would do himself a lot of favors by making sure he sticks right now to the back of Leo Dragota, at least stay in this fight. Yeah, just in case something happens up front, start losing sight of Dragota, and it could be a points impact coming into the season. But here we flash to the front. Dam has cut the lead from a second down to 3/10 under Dean Dibdahl, so Dibdahl now maybe getting a little bit nervous with the veteran Dam behind him.
That's going to go around the fountain. Yeah.
Just the way they throw that thing around turns 2 and around the fountain.
As we see now, we're
big slides, both cars.
Yeah, both getting very loose there, coming through turn 5 and on the west shoreline. As both of them now are going to have to deal with some slower traffic up ahead. And this may be, well, we'll see as they make the run, that very long run now down East Seaside over towards turn 9. If this is maybe a good opportunity for Mike Dam, but he just slots ahead of that slower car.
That was Dominic Angelicchio there in the 48. In the wrong stuff. He has that wrong stuff paint on it, just like Shane Larson's GTP car.
And there's Dre Divock, and Divok's giving himself a little bit of a margin now over Brennan Horn. The gap now opening up to what about almost 2 seconds separating those two drivers now as they're coming down the front straight towards turn 1.
Yeah, as you can see there on the graphic, Brennan struggled for a couple laps, starting to pick it up here on just this lap 23. So we'll see if that helps him. But now he's going to find himself behind Angelicchio, just behind Divock. So Divock maybe can build that back up again here with the help of the lap traffic.
There goes Horn. Should be able to work himself clear now coming down into turn 6.
And these guys, a really good battle between these two BMWs up front. I'm wondering if Mike Dam's going to be patient and wait for the pit window.
Larry, let's take a look at this. We've got Pawliquet Grant coming down into turn 1.
No.
Ooh, and it just looks like he lost the car under braking going into 1. And I think that was Stephen May just ahead of him when they were coming down there. And you can see now that he has managed to continue, but that certainly doesn't help his move back towards the front. Pawliquet Grant sitting 4th right now in GTP, and I believe he was a full lap down from May when they went down into turn 1.
Well, he really does need to get on the game here, because if he can move up and take that 3rd spot from May, again, you said it, he's about a lap down, but if he can somehow come back and take that 3rd spot, he's got a chance to maybe hang on the points. But because those 2nd and 3rd place events are going to matter. Larson, we know, has a couple of wins recently, but had a bunch of seconds early in the season, while Grant had 3 wins early, and then, of course, a DNS, plus a 6th place in another event. If he's going to have something else to count that isn't going to be a win, he needs to maximize those points. And for him, it's critical for him to get back up to that 3rd spot. The win here, not likely without total chaos at the front, but he potentially could catch May for a 3rd, but he's really got to tighten it up and not have those kind of mistakes like we just saw.
And Larry, I think we can now point to the time in this race where Dean Dibdahl starts to get defensive.
Is he starting to Dibdahl his tires a little bit this stage of the race?
I think he definitely is, and I saw it as they came down East Seaside towards turn 9 as he adjusted his line a little bit on entry, kept the car maybe a little bit more mid-track, coming out of that very short little run out of 9 as they start the left-hander, that little sweeping left to set up for the hairpin, and you know, Dam was giving a couple looks there. We'll have to see how much Dam starts to push, or if he's just going to be content kind of sitting back a little bit. But let's do this, Larry, as we're sitting now at the top of the hour here, a little bit past the top of the hour, and hopefully we won't have everybody start to take pit stops on us like we did 2 weeks ago. Let's take a quick little break. Thanks to our partners and sponsors, and when we come back, we'll take you all the way to the checkered flag here from Long Beach, where you are watching round number 6 of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech World Challenge presented by Performa, Texas Elite Graphics, and Butt Kicker. We'll be right back.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. Whether you're just looking to have fun, train for race day, or become a serious esports competitor, Ricmotech has you covered. Hundreds of name-brand parts. Support from experts that love sim racing. Trusted by the pros. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com. Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com.
The search is over. The most comprehensive league scoring solution is here, with the ability for multi-level championships, custom incident tracking, post-race time penalties, support for heats, drop weeks display, multi-car team scoring, advanced web widgets, rookie championships, a custom paint system, and load those results in seconds. Visit extremescoring.info today.
And welcome back to Long Beach for the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech World Challenge. It's round number 6 of 7. Here, I'm Greg Ginsburg along with Larry Lefty McLeod. And Larry, well, we had a few drivers jump into the pits in our absence. Edgar Sancinelli, and we had the 2 Dragatas come in as well. And it looks like Sancinelli may have a little bit more going on.
He's definitely in for more than just fuel at this point. He may need a little bit of body work. As there's our leader Larson, the second of those 2 GTPs in that shop, and he's trying to pick his way through traffic. Those are the leaders in GT3s that he's currently going through. You can see Mike Dam just behind him, Dean Dibdahl just a car and a half in front of him, as he's trying to get by the lap GTP car as well as lap the GT3s.
And Larry, I don't know if you've noticed that as Mike Dam came out of the hairpin, as he lit up that inside rear tire, and that is the 2nd lap in a row that he's done it. He got a huge wiggle on the previous lap while we were still at break, and even before we had the 2 GTP cars come up and slot themselves between he and Dean Dibdahl, he had already lost maybe 3 or 4 car lengths. Oh, as we have contact now, Shane Larson, and you had it there. Great time to have the onboard with our leader Larson, as it looks like he got into the back of that was Brockway, I think, Greg Brockway in the 62.
I think it was. Well, I'm also looking to see what's going on with Dam and Dibdahl as they are now closer together. I thought perhaps Dam was going to get caught behind that. He did not. He was able to get his way around that. Stevok right behind him in the number 12, the AM leader. So that brings Stevok even closer as Dibdahl had to check up for that. That was a bit of a crazy moment. It looks like, though, our leaders in AM and Pro and GT3s have made their way through unscathed.
Yeah, and we'll have to see what this does, Larry, for Shane Larson. If he gets assigned any kind of responsibility for that incident there, he's got a 1-lap advantage at the moment on Brandon Guillot. So that, if he gets some kind of a penalty, has to come down the pit lane, that could close things back up in GTP.
And it is critical for him to not make those mistakes. And there's Brockway, who's probably got a little bit of a damage. Yes, he does. That right front looks like it's pointing the wrong direction.
Yes. He's
going to try and make his way around the hairpin with the tire turning left. The corner goes to the right. This ought to be interesting. He does make his way through. He'll be back to the pits. But yeah, for Larson, it's going to be critical for him that if he has a penalty, he's got to serve it, put it behind him, and keep going again, because he does have that 1 lap lead on Guillaume, but all of a sudden you get it in your head, you make another mistake. You've got to be careful. The onus is always on the passing car to get around the lapped car. It is not on the responsibility of the lap car to just pull out of the way. So that's going to be critical to see how does that come through, as into the pits is Travis Schwenke.
That's right, Travis Schwenke, who started off on the outside of the front row, hits in from 3rd position in class, is now back in 5th behind Steve Daniel and Iago Moraes. Remember, Moraes has that 5-second post-race penalty to serve.
That's a quick stop. 14 seconds
very quick
for Schwenke, stopped in his pit box. But then again, we also had the first almost 10 minutes of this race were under caution, so not a lot of fuel used there, making a 75-minute race suddenly about a 65-minute race. So perhaps I'm thinking he can get away with it. This is Shane Larson coming through.
Yeah, Larry, and as I was running down those pit windows for the 2 classes, that wasn't taking into account the 5 or so laps that we had under caution here to start the races. Larson now in his pit box.
I don't know if they always go in the jacks or if they only do for tires, but he is up in the air. No word yet on if he's been awarded any penalty. I do see it's under review, the contact between he and Brockway. So if there's a penalty, it'll be after this pit stop for him. And just to let you know, Bobby Charles was awarded a penalty for the smack in the tushy of Russ Ruddock a few laps back.
Congratulations on that award, Bobby.
All right, we'll see if there's any penalties given to Larson, as Guillaume is still out there. Larson able to pit and come back out. He is still sitting.
Still there on the pit lane.
Interesting, as he's... What if he had any damage? He's 50 seconds in and still not moving.
I mean, a distinct possibility. It looked like he had been carrying a decent amount of speed there as he got into the back of the number 62 machine.
He's over a minute, still hanging there in the pits. So we'll see if this lead gets handed to Brandon Guillaume at some point. We'll have to come back to that in a few minutes.
And there's Russ Ruddock now pitting in now showing in 4th position.
And Guillaume, there he is, your new race leader, has surpassed Larson. So Larson's still in the pits as Guillaume goes on by. Now Guillaume hasn't stopped yet. Larson hasn't moved yet. So we'll have to wait and see if Larson's able to continue. Will he be able to catch Guillaume? But this actually is playing into the hands of Grant, who's out there around the track somewhere right now. Polycube Grant still running 4th in GTP. Still quite a bit down from Stephen May, who he's got to get around. There is Grant still with a little bit of damage on that car, but he is still making laps around, running in the 113s. Let's see, May running in the 114s. So right now, May doing everything he can to hang on to that provisional podium spot while Grant goes. But this is going to help Grant a little bit because he's in that points battle with Larson, who you can see still in his pit box.
Wow. And again, we have not heard of any word of any penalties handed down.
I suspect this is damage.
Yeah.
Yeah, just trying to repair the damage from the incident there with Brockway. Wow, talk about changing the race in a moment.
And Dean Dibdahl once again extending his advantage now over Mike Dam up to about a little bit less than a minute and a half. And if we take a look there at the bottom of the screen, you can see they've been trading off. Larry here as one opens up the gap, the next time by it gets closed down again, and vice versa, almost by the exact same amount each lap. And now Mike Dam seems to be on the march and has a bit of an advantage as he's now closing things up.
Definitely an accordion effect going on between these two, as one gets a little gap, then it comes back. A little bit of replay here.
And Larry, this might explain, very much might explain why Shane Larson has been spending an extended period of time on the pit lane. So in addition to that incident with Greg Brockway, that was a major impact coming out of turn 8 onto East Seaside Way.
Yes, it is. And that's going to put him down. And he is still in the pits 3.5 minutes later. So this is not going Shane Larson's way. The first half of this race was nearly perfect for him until it all sort of fell apart.
Wasn't. And now Larry is our new overall leader. Brandon Guillot comes across and past our GT3 leaders. You know, both Dibdahl and Mike Dam, well, they are back in lockstep here, and both coming out of the hairpin, starting to have some increased issues putting the power down, getting onto the front straight. We noted it when we came back from the break with Mike Dam, but starting to definitely see it on the rear tires of Dean Dibdahl as well. And I guess one of those questions is going to be, will Dibdahl risk when he comes in to get fuel if he indeed needs it after that extended yellow flag series at the beginning of this race? Will he put tires on that car to get to the checkered flag?
Well, I'll tell you, as we're now down to the last 25 minutes here in a couple of seconds, I don't know. You think about that decision if you've got a long time left in the race, right? It's always that risk reward, but it's also about the investment and return. Sitting up on the jacks for, let's say, an extra 20, 30 seconds, when you only need to go another 15, 20 minutes, doesn't seem like it's really worth the investment for him. But look at Mike Dam right on the tail of Dibdahl as they come out of the hairpin with one of the Dragotas right there behind them. I think it's a lap down. That might be Lucas. Not sure. That might actually be Leo.
All those Dragotas, they look the same, Larry. I don't know what to tell you.
Well, he is a lap down. That is Leonardo.
Leonardo, yeah.
Yeah.
And we see now that Dre Divock has fallen off the pace of our two pro leaders. Still maintaining that advantage over Brendan Horan, however, at about 2 seconds.
Well, this will be interesting. Now, we know that Travis Schwenke did come in for a splash of fuel, which to me says that very likely these two will at some point as well, those two being Dibdahl and Dam. So, well, there's a Schwenke right now running 5th in pro. Good recovery so far. But again, he's the only one of the top 5 that has stopped. Now, Yago Mores, he did a drive-through penalty, and he still has got himself back up to 3rd despite that penalty. But he will need to make a fuel stop. So when that happens, it's only about 25 seconds or so from Mores back to Schwenke. Schwenke can find himself in 3rd after more pit exchanges between Mores and Daniel. So Schwenke, good recovery. But let's see how the pit stops play out.
Yeah, and remember that Mores has that post-race penalty assigned to him as well, which certainly goes in Schwenke's favor as well.
Dre Divock in from the lead in AM. Brendan Horan takes the lead for the moment, but Divock is in the Porsche.
Yeah, and Larry, I can't imagine that it's going to take that much fuel. Originally, the thought was, even if the GT3 drivers, if we didn't have that long yellow flag condition at the very beginning of the race, if they ran all the way to the end of what we thought the pit window would be, which was lap 38, they would have only needed about 12 gallons of fuel. I would imagine that they're going to need quite a bit less than that, given the extended time under caution.
Well, we're waiting to see him start moving. There he goes, about 18 seconds in his pit box. It's about 4 or 5 seconds longer than Schwenke and his BMW stopped a few laps back, but not a bad stop. Anything under 20 seconds, probably pretty good. The battle we know that he is in is going to be with Brendan Horan, who's, I believe, in a Lamborghini, if I got that right tonight. But he's currently the leader there in GT3M with Glover in 2nd spot. Glover, of course, in the 2nd spot, has not stopped yet. Leo Dragota has done his stop, and he had previously been up at that spot, so into the 3rd spot, I should say. So we'll see where that all shakes out. There is Brendan Horan in the 45 with one of our GTPs right behind him.
I believe that's May. Shane Larson did, and actually, is that Shane?
That is Larson right there.
That is Larson. I was going to say, Larson did make his way out of the pits. He's currently sitting 16th overall.
But critically, he's 2nd in class, which means he's ahead of Paulie Grant, who he's in the rivalry on points with. And right now, in between them is still Stephen May. So still not decided yet in there, but those guys are about 4 laps down from Brandon Guillot, your overall race leader.
And so sitting there in the pit lane paid off for Larson as he does get back out ahead of Paulie Grant. And it looks like he's got a little bit of clear track ahead of him with these GTP cars. It doesn't last for long, as we can see now. He's going to have a few more to deal with here in just a few moments.
And Paulie Grant is catching Stephen May, so that'll be something to watch as the last 20 minutes or so here unfold. It'll be an interesting ending. There is,
yeah, definitely. Now there is still a rather large delta between the two. It is currently at about 2 minutes 15 seconds, so he's got a long way to go.
It's about a lap or so, yeah. It's about a lap and a half or so, but not impossible the way this thing's going. And in the pits is Larson again. He must not have felt there was anything. Oh, I take that back. He's got a drive-through penalty.
That's a penalty for the incident. And now we have Brendan Horn pitting in from the lead in GT3 AM. And that is going to likely, although still about 17 seconds back, will likely bring Horn and Glover out in very close proximity. Glover goes by and moves into the lead, but we expect he's going to need a pit stop as well.
The one we're watching is going to be Dre Divock, whose pit stop time was about 18 seconds. We're watching Brendan Horn's about 17 seconds, so that might be enough to help move him a little bit closer. Let's see where Horn is, and let's see where Divock is, as Horn's going around the very long pit out. Divock should be on the main straight. There he is. Where are they as they come down here pit out before turn 1?
As he's going to go around that bend, and it is such a long run to get down to turn 1, and on the pit lane there, it looks as though, there we can see, having to go past that blue cone
and he
at
does,
the
and
end.
Brendan Horn takes the lead.
There you go. So the number 45 machine is your new leader in GT3 AM, having gotten around Dre Divock, who had led since the drop of the green flag here this evening, as we now have still about 20 minutes remaining here at Long Beach in this 75-minute race, the round number 6 of 7 of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech World Challenge.
We're still waiting on Dibdall and Dam to make their stop from the pro class. We're waiting on Glover to make his stop. Yago Mores and Steve Daniel, also from pro, have yet to make their stops. So a lot of things yet to be decided. And that battle, I suspect, between Horan and Divock is going to be a good one right up to the end. We know that Baron Glover, currently your points leader, has the race lead, but he needs to stop. Right now, he needs to stop and get back out within 25 seconds. I'm not sure that's possible, but we'll see where he lands when he does come in. Hopefully for him to be able to get back out at least into the 3rd spot.
All right, coming down the pit lane now is Steve Daniel, pitting in from 4th in pro in the SKKJ BMW.
And look at these two BMWs just gingerly on their tires, coming off of that hairpin, doing everything they can to get a good launch, but also try and save some of that rubber. We've still got about 19 minutes to go in this race.
Yeah, that is still a comparatively long way.
Yeah. I don't suspect they'll take tires, but they would like to save some for the fight at the end.
All right, Larry, let's check in with Travis Schwenke, who started off on the outside of the front row today and had that early off.
That's aggressive, but so is that. Was that one of the D2D?
I think it was one of the D2D machines, as we saw the 16 machine come to almost a complete stop and get a little bit of the chrome horn for his effort there.
It looks like he's still moving. We'll have to see if there's any long-term damage to him. As he's still in that fight, currently into 4th, with Daniel taking his stop. Schwenke now has his eyes on Mores for the 3rd spot once Mores takes to the pits.
All right, and in the pit lane now is Dominique Angelicchio, as well as we had Chris Thormanid. Stephen May popped into the pit lane for that splash of fuel, and he is now back underway as well. That's going to close things up, I think, between Grant and May.
It most certainly will, as it was about a lap and a half or a lap and 3/4 between them before. I suspect it could be about 1 lap now separating May and Grant. And Grant had been pacing about 4 seconds a lap faster, but all eyes now are on GT3. Your leader, Dean Dibdall, is into the pits. Mike Dam stays out for at least 1 more lap. Dean is in the air.
So he's going to take tires while he's taking fuel.
It's going to be cold.
Yeah, there you go. Car's back down as he finishes the fuel, and very fairly quick stop for Dean.
So they're going to be fresh, but they're going to be cold. We'll see what he's got. Didn't seem to cost him a good 15-second stop. That's good. That's well-timed. Yalgamores pits from third. He'll be in the battle for fourth or fifth when he comes out. That should allow Schwenke, unless he's got damage, but it should allow Schwenke to move up into that third spot as he comes down the front straight here in just a minute. As Brandon Guillot, your race leader, is in.
Yep, there we go. Race leader Brandon Guillot now on the pit lane. Now he's got a lot of time and a lot of laps to give here, as he is currently 5 laps up on Shane Larson, who's running second in class.
That's a lot of smoke.
It is.
His tires are spinning. What if he just watt while he's in the air? Oh no, that's your leader in AM.
That's Brennan Horn.
He's facing the wrong way. Track goes this way, Brennan.
That is your former leader in AM, as Brennan Horn now. Nice spin there.
It is.
No, if we'd only seen the lobby do that earlier, but that
he had to send that tweet before he got going again. But he does get going, right, as does our leader in the race, Brandon Guillot. But I'm sure the boys will get us a replay queued up in just a minute for Brennan Horn, because he just gave up the lead. All
right, so let's take a look here, Larry, and let's see exactly what happened here. Big bounce off the wall. That was wow.
No!
Oh my, that is Steve Daniel. Probably not Steve Daniel. That is Jeff Jacobs getting into the back of our leader, Dean Dibdahl.
Jacobs right now, bowling ball is Dibdahl on the recovery. I don't know what kind of damage he has. Oh, that's awful for Dibdahl. We'll see if that car's got damage. He took a pretty good size hit.
It was. And so that's going to move Mike Dam now up into the GT3 lead and second place overall. And he has got nothing to worry about behind him.
He had just come out of the pits on those fresh tires. I wonder if he was being a little bit cautious through the first couple of corners, and maybe a little bit underestimated there for Jacobs, unfortunately for Dibdahl. And then Jacobs goes on. It looks like there was some more contacts. All sorts of things happened there. But Mike Dam, he's the last man standing yet to take a pit stop. I suspect maybe this or the next time could be his last one. I can't imagine he'd go the full 75 minutes, as the Dragatas and Ruddock and Thorman are all running together right now.
That's right. So with Mike Dam now moving up into the lead here in Pro, Dean is still running in second, albeit almost a second or almost a minute and a half behind. Dre Divock is your new leader, or he's not your new leader, but he is back to the lead in AM with Brennan Horn's spin 2 laps ago. Divock now running third.
Struggling again in that corner right there?
Yes, he is.
Oh boy, he may have some damage. He may be limping that car. You talk about him being a minute down. That could continue to grow, but we'll keep our eyes on that for Dibdahl, trying right now just cling to a podium.
Yeah, and Larry, he's still got almost 14 minutes that he's got to worry about limping that car home.
Now, another one of the cars that looked like may have been involved in that was Travis Schwenke. Why we were talking about could maybe make a podium out of this. He's down and looks like out, as his teammate Mike Dam from Orion Racing pits from the lead. Can he stay in the lead?
And we saw Dam have some issues on cold tires a couple of weeks ago as well. We'll see how he does here at
11-second
Beach.
Stop. Nice and quick. The car to watch to me is Dre Divock leading in GT3 AM by 15 seconds, but he's going to come out really close to Mike Dam. So Dam has to be a little ginger on those if he's just changed tires, so has to be a little bit careful on them. There's Divock right now heading towards the hairpin. Not sure he'll be able to assume the overall race lead if he's just now coming on the front straight, but he is the AM leader with the spin by Brennan Horn. So that's going to leave Divock now 20 seconds clear of Glover and Horn behind him.
Tell Divock to look out behind. He's got Jeff Jacobs making up. Jeff Jacobs, who's a lap down, is starting to make up some time on him.
So our timing and scoring is getting things sorted out. All right, now we're on board with Dean Dibdahl. He may have righted the ship. His last lap was a 19.2, so maybe all is well right now on the Dibdall Express. As he's a couple seconds back, it looks like, from Divock, the AM leader. And you can see the Porsche of Divock just ahead of them in the shot as he moves over to let, I think that's Grant on through, or is that Shane Larson?
That's Larson.
So waiting for the official ruling on the incident between Jacobs and Dibdall. I do suspect that even one of the admins can be penalized for his responsibility in an incident. I suspect Jeff Jacobs may be getting a little bit of a Christmas bonus at the end of this race, perhaps when in the 5-second post-race variety.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's not going to help Dean Dibdall out.
No.
And Dibdall had issues at Road America as well, as he had some hardware issues. Had the his 3D, or not 3D, but his VR headset crash on him and die going down in the turn 5 under braking, and that ended his race as he was up in the podium positions as well. And this is, he was leading the GT3 race with less than 20 minutes to go. It's got to be a heartbreaker for the kid.
Yeah, it is, I think, for him. But he's also got to think it. Luckily, was able to continue, and right now he's 20 seconds down and 20 seconds ahead of Horace for third. So he's in a good position if he can just keep things together here for the next 10 minutes to come home with a very strong podium finish. Well-deserved at this point, but he's got about 10 more minutes of survival as Grant going around Mike Dam, your race leader in GT3.
And I believe that Grant has just gotten around May on track, which is going to put him on the same lap as May, just that he's got to make up almost an entire lap at this point.
He does, he's only running about a second a lap faster, so I don't know if he could do that without some sort of other issues. But I just looked at the lap time that popped up. You heard me say, wow, Mike Dam just ran a 1:18.5, which is 1.1. Let's see here. I'm looking for the next fastest lap. Next fastest lap's a 19:26 by Brennan Horn, maybe a 19:10 by Yago Morez. He's a half a second faster than anybody else's lap at any time in this race. I think he may have been sitting behind Dean Dibdall there for a while, maybe saving some fuel, but he is definitely not saving anything now. He just went full bore 18.5. He wants this race win.
All right, Larry, just got word that there was a car off track over on the outside of turn number 1. Hopefully by now that car has recovered, but we'll see if that has impacted anything or anybody, and impact in saying that the best possible way. All right, let's take a look. I think we've got the replay queued up. We'll take a look and see exactly who that was, and I think that was Edgar Sancinelli coming down into turn 1.
And just gets a little late, rubs the wall. Steve Daniel gets by unscathed, but for Sancinelli, I think that was enough to just call the tow truck and call it a day and crack a gold one.
Yeah, it looks like his day now likely done, especially with that hard front end hit after he brushed the wall. So it looks like Sancinelli's day is going to end. We'll see how well, it doesn't look like Halabi's got an opportunity to get past him on track here. So it looks like Sancinelli's going to settle for 12th in AM today, not the finish he wanted, obviously.
For Mike Dam now, with about 8 minutes left in this race, is looking for an opportunity on points. Schwenke, his teammate, came in with the points lead. Schwenke is now out of this race. Jennifer McDonald, who won the last round, she's not racing here tonight. Yago Morez is 4th. He's had his issues, but right now running 3rd. So for Mike Dam, this is a huge opportunity if he could just run a couple more laps and bring this thing home for Orion to really capitalize on everybody else's issues here tonight.
Yeah, and should note, Larry, that even with the 5-second penalty that Yago Morez is due to pick up, he has more than enough clearance over Steve Daniel right now that it should not do anything to take away that 3rd place position from him.
Correct. Yeah, that 5 seconds shouldn't make too much of a difference. As for the overhead shot here, looking at Mike Dam just hitting his marks, rolling through. By the way, last lap by 18.7, a big slow lap for him. Only 2/10 slower than his previous best, and still faster than anybody else in GT3 is doing. As that looks like Shane Larson trying to get around him. Larson still running in 2nd, 3 laps, though, down from the lead in GTP.
As we check back with our leader, Brandon Guillot, who is, as we mentioned, 3 laps up on Shane Larson. Guillot just trying to run a very smooth race here and putting down fairly consistent laps. That last time by, to give you an idea, almost 4 full seconds, actually about 3.5 seconds off of his fastest lap of the race. So he's definitely dialed it back into maintenance mode here.
Yeah, as he definitely should, as Public Grant is now visiting his pit crew for what I believe is the 3rd time tonight.
Yeah, a little splash and go there at the very end, Larry. He stopped, and about 3 seconds later, he was back underway. So yeah, might have just wanted to stop by for some ice cream or something.
Perhaps. As Divock continues to lead in GT3 AM, his lead now about 16 seconds over Baron Glover, the points leader. So again, good showing here for Divock so far with just about 6 minutes to go in this race. Brennan Horan, after leading post pit stops and then had that big spin, is running in 3rd. He's ahead of Leo Dragona, who's currently 4th, and quite a bit for Horan. He's got some buffer behind him. Horan, though, to get to 2nd, he's going to have to pick up the pace. 3.5 seconds down from Baron Glover. He's lapping about a second a lap faster, but I don't know.
With 5 minutes to go, it's going to be.
He can see him. He can see him up there. Perhaps some lap traffic or maybe a passing GTP car be enough to slow him down. That is Baron right there in that 13 in the white Ferrari.
Horan's got a D2D teammate there, right there with him.
Should be the 60 of Chris Thorman.
Yeah, Thorman. Not saying he'd do anything special, but could end up slowing the pace a little bit of the Ferrari.
Yeah.
Bring him back to Horn just a little bit, as you can see Horn there just getting into the view.
Thorman's about 3 laps down from these guys leading this race. Glover, Horan, Divock all running on lap 49. Glover just right now keeping an eye maybe on that relative screen. He knows that Brennan Horan's back there about 4 seconds, but doing everything he can to make sure that doesn't change. And there's the graphic. You can see Brennan's been making some headway everywhere from 6, 8, 10, even a full second of lap time change there, as you can see, a lap 47. But he needs to continue to do that, and maybe multiple seconds if he was to have a chance for that 2nd spot before the checker flies here in about 4 minutes. Maybe 3 more laps, depending on where Brendan Guillot, the race leader, is. There's Brendan.
Ask and you shall receive.
I think he's making his way through turn 5. Brendan Horan, Brendan Guillot. Brandon just taking his time getting around the DTD driver. Just doesn't need to push it with a 3-lap lead at this point. I don't think you can do 3 laps in 3 minutes around here.
He hasn't been able to get that close yet. Fastest time tonight, a 1:13.5 for our leader, Brandon Guillot, as he comes out onto the front straight. And when he crosses the stripe, Larry, it should be 2 to go, I believe.
That would make sense. So 2 more shots added for Guillot to make his way around Long Beach and see the sights, stop by the aquarium before he gets to collect that checkered flag. There's an aquarium there, isn't there?
Yes.
Okay. Actually, I think it's fully rendered. It's actually in the view.
Yes, it is.
At the track.
Yeah, you can see. I mean, I think you've got the wall with the mural there. Yeah. As we're on board right now with our GT leader, Mike Dam. As he comes down, as he starts now with 2 laps remaining, or what should be 2 laps remaining.
And that's John Casey. I haven't mentioned John here tonight. That's John running in his Porsche, getting all up in the shrubbery there at the fountain.
Shrubbery?
29 of Preventus. We've seen him a couple of times. Probably not his favorite way to be shown on screen, but he's still out there.
All right, there we go. Coming down the front straight here, and we should have one lap remaining here, Larry, from Long Beach. Well, you know what? I'm looking. We might actually now have two.
Yeah, his last lap was a 1:17, so maybe it is. I didn't see it there.
We've just now got 1 minute remaining on the clock. So
did we have a Barney sighting?
We'll know in a minute.
It's where the drivers have an advantage. They know if there's one lap remaining. Then we'll show the broadcasters and commentators if there's a flag waving. But maybe we'll see Mike Dam come by the flagger stand here and see if there's a flag
we can
waving.
pick up Barney on the flag stand. I don't see him waving a flag, Larry.
I don't either. We might be with a lap to go then.
That's it. Says as Mike Dam, our GT leader, goes by the start-finish line. So yeah, it looks like we might have one more to go here as Shane Larson putting the car right back behind and maybe flashing the lights a little bit for Mr. May just ahead. Stephen May in the number 50 machine.
Well, I'll tell you what, that slowed Baron Glover down just a little bit here, letting these GTPs by, and you can see just 2 cars behind him are the two D2Ds coming together. In fact, D2D and D2D violence going on as Horn gets into the back of Thorman, but that is Brennan Horn, a second and a half back from Baron Glover. And this extra lap is giving a little bit of life to Brennan Horn to maybe think he has a chance to grab that second spot. He's going to need a little bit of help, maybe from that teammate, maybe by getting out of the way to give himself a chance.
There wasn't much of anywhere for him to go going into the hairpin there, Larry. But it didn't do Brennan Horn any favors as he tried to come underneath his teammate at the hairpin and just lit up the rear tires, and the car did not go anywhere. And that is given a little bit more clearance to Brandon Glover now in the number 45 Ferrari. There we go, as we see Horn's teammate moving over to the side, and maybe a little bit too late for him.
So this is final lap here for these guys. But, I think Brennan Horn may have been on double secret probation with his D2D team. This isn't going to help. But this guy, Brendan Guillot, just had to do what he needed to do tonight. Let everybody else have their issues while you just bring it home and do what you can to win at Long Beach.
There we go. Brendan Guillot, your winner in GTP. Congratulations to him for his first win here in the World Series. And we'll see who comes across next. Shane Larson crosses the stripe. He's going to finish second with Stephen May, taking the bronze tonight in GTP. Mike Dam, our leader in GT3 Pro, he is now working his last lap. Dean Dibdahl has already taken the checkered flag, so he's going to come home in second as long as Mike Dam can get it up to the finish line. He is going to take the win. So Dibdahl second. Iago Mores will finish third in GT3 Pro. In GT3 AM, Glover and Warren have finished their races. It is just up to Dre Divock to cross the stripe and take the win in AM, as Mike Dam is your winner in GT3 Pro. And here comes Divock up to the hairpin for the very last time onto the front straight. Gets that car rotated and he's on his way. Dre Divock, your winner tonight at Long Beach in GT3 AM. All right, Larry, so there you go. It's Guillot, Larson, and May in GTP. It's Dam, Dibdahl, and Mores in GT3 Pro, and Divock, Glover, and Horn in GT3 AM. And we're going to talk to some of our podium finishers in just a few moments. But first, let's take a quick break, and we will thank some of our partners and sponsors and then have those interviews for you. You have just watched the finish of round number 6 of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech World Challenge, presented by Performa Texas Elite Graphics and Butt Kicker here at Long Beach, and we'll be right back.
Allow it. Extreme Scoring to do the work for you.
Ricmotech high-performance sim racing equipment. Whether you're just looking to have fun, train for race day, or become a serious esports competitor, Ricmotech has you covered. Hundreds of name brand parts. Support from experts that love sim racing. Trusted by the pros. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com.
The search is over. The most comprehensive league scoring solution is here, with the ability for multi-level championships, custom incident tracking, post-race time penalties, support for heats, drop weeks display, multi-car team scoring, advanced web widgets, rookie championships, a custom paint system, and load those results in seconds. Visit extremescoring.info today.
And welcome back to Long Beach, where you've just seen round number 6 of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech World Challenge presented by Performa, Texas Elite Graphics, and Butt Kicker. I'm Greg Ginsburg along with Larry Lefty McLeod. And let's take a look at our podium finishers once again here, gentlemen. Brandon Guillot taking the win in GTP, finishing second. Shane Larson with Stephen May finishing in third. In GT3 Pro, it was Mike Dam finishing with the win. Dean Dibdahl finishing in second, and Yago Mores coming home in third. In GT3 AM, Dre Divock takes the win, finishing second. Baron Glover with Brennan Horan coming home in third. And so, Larry, for the moment, we've got it kind of easy. We only have one driver sitting in the green room waiting for us, and that is Brandon Guillot, our overall winner, driver of the number 66 Aztec. That's AZZ Tech Racing GTP car. Let's hear what he has to say.
Brandon Guillot, you went out, you worked hard all this week, you practiced this track, you qualified tonight, and you watched everyone else do what you couldn't do. They all had wrecks, they all had problems, but you tonight brought home victory. Your first here in the Ricmotech Series. Congratulations for that. How does that feel?
Sorry, could you repeat your question again?
How does it feel to be a race winner?
Oh, awesome, man. I've been waiting for this all season. And finally came just with great strategy and everything. Just keeping it clean.
Awesome. That's what you got to do right here, right? You've got to be clean. You can't go around bouncing off walls. You got to watch going through traffic. And it seemed tonight you recognize in the moment, we're watching you there towards the end, and you just got to patient. You realize the moment you got a couple lap lead, no sense to push it. Is all that going through your mind the last couple laps to just bring it home?
Oh yeah. I definitely learned from the last races. It's all about consistency sometimes. It's okay to, back off and just, because sometimes it'll just fall into your hands. I had a bad setup on the car, so I also had no other choice but to just cruise around.
Yeah, maybe sometimes a bad setup makes you go extra cautious. And at a place like Long Beach, there's just no room for error, is there? This place just bites you if you make any mistakes, doesn't it?
Yep. It's very
absolutely
tight.
Crazy. Yes, it is an absolutely crazy track. But for you, first victory here, finally getting the checker flag first. It's got to feel like something special, but I know that you've got a team in the Aztec Racing that probably helped you get here.
Oh yeah, they bought me in when we were doing. I was looking for a team in Silverstone 24 Hour, and they stepped up and bought me in and gave me the liveries and everything to make this livery on this car. And yeah, very great support from them, and just keep pushing, keep moving forward with them.
Well, awesome job. They're going to be celebrating here with you tonight, getting that first victory here in the Ricmotech World Challenge. well deserved. So congratulations, Brandon. Anybody else you want to give any special thanks to?
Just to Aztec Racing, my family, my friends, people who support me in doing this, and yeah, it's the whole racing community.
Awesome. Well, great job here tonight. Congrats on that victory, and you get to go celebrate.
Yep, thank you.
All right, there you go. That was Brandon Guillot, your overall winner, driver of the number 66 Aztec Racing GTP car. All right, so Larry, let's move over. I found all of our other drivers. They were hiding in the back room somewhere. let's go over to GT3 AM, and we're going to talk to our second place finisher. That is Baron Glover, and he was our championship leader coming into tonight's race. Baron Glover, driver of the number 13 Glass Pro Esport Ferrari.
All right, Baron Glover, you come into tonight with the lead in AM, so tonight was probably a little bit about maybe kind of looking to next week to see where you placed, but you had to get some points. The second place finish, got to feel pretty good about that.
Yeah, tonight was all about survival, and I was just happy to come out of there unscathed. So all's well on to next week, and hopefully good things.
Yeah, unscathed, does that mean you avoided all wall contact for 75 minutes? Did you find yourself kind of leaving a little bit of paint on some walls here and there?
I think I scraped the inside of 11, but not enough to give me any insight. So.
That's good. It's a tough place to stay clean, and I think that really is the strategy around here, isn't it? Just keep your nose clean and see where you finish up.
It is, and that's all I was about tonight.
Awesome. Great job for you. The points will be updated in a few minutes. I can't wait to see this. I think we're going to have ourselves a pretty tight battle here with one round left. So congrats tonight on the podium finish there for Baron Glover.
Thank you.
All right, thanks so much to Baron Glover. Now, Larry, let's talk to our winner in GT3 AM, driving the number 12 Porsche 911 for the wrong stuff. It is Dre Divock.
Dre Divock, a heck of a race here tonight. You really ran strong all night long. Had to kind of watch a few things going on around you, but ultimately victory was yours. Tell me a bit about your race.
I just want to say, let's effing go, dude. I am so pumped right now. I'm sweating everything off. I'm just on cloud nine, man. I'm feeling good. Race went luckily well for me. I got around some accidents that happened in front of me. I ended up bumping, forgot who, Haran, on accident because he got spun out by somebody, and got around him, luckily, because he got out of the pits quicker than I did. So my undercut didn't work, and yeah, I'm just lucky to be alive and holding on to that trophy for P1 here in my class.
Yeah, we're waiting for the points to get updated. I suspect between you and Jeff and Baron, it's going to be pretty close going into that final round.
Well, Larry, I've got it.
Do we want to reveal right now? Let's do the reveal. What do you got?
Yeah, let's go on. We don't want to do anything right with Dre in the room here.
We'll let him go.
What the heck, guys?
But it's going to be awfully close. But I believe this, if I got this right, this is your first victory here for us in this season and here with the Ricmotech series. Is that right?
It is, yes sir. I've been wanting one. I had 3 seconds, I believe, in a row or something. I don't remember what it was, but I was hoping for one. So I'm feeling pretty good. Hopefully I can get another one in a couple weeks here. Yeah, well, absolutely well deserved tonight. It's a tough place, and I'm looking at the points. It's gonna be close. You're not quite to the top of the mountain yet, but you're awfully close. The battle between you and Baron and Jeff is gonna be a great one going into the last round. So, Dre, great job tonight. Anybody you want to give a special thanks to for the victory? Once again, thanks to my team, helped me out get quicker on this course. Shane and then Robert really just got me up to speed, so feeling good. Awesome job. Great result for you and the Wrong Stuff team tonight, so congratulations and victory in GT3 AM for Dre Divock. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
All right, there you go, Dre Divock. And now, Larry, that he's not in the room with us, we can talk about him. Current point standings in GT3 AM, Baron Glover, 134 points, 11 points back. Dre Divock with 123, and another 4 back to Jeff Jacobs in the number 38 machine, and good distance back to Greg Brockway and Russ Ruddick from there. All right, let's move over now to GT. You know what? We've got another one of our GTP drivers. This is Shane Larson, who had a very difficult race. He finished second in GTP. Let's talk to the driver here. Again, Shane Larson.
So Shane Larson joining us here. Shane, interesting start to this race. I know not necessarily the results you want. You still can still end up coming home in second spot, but you had a lot of ups and downs and a couple of minutes in the pit box tonight. Tell me a little bit about how things look from your side.
I mean, it started off great for me. I did everything I needed to. Got some pretty good starts off the restarts. Was just doing my own thing. Got away. I had enough gap for tires. I was planning for the future. I was like, okay, I got enough of gap. Just gonna go nice and slow. Just get to the finish because I know things get crazy here, and they got crazy. I was looking back at the incidents just now. The one in it's either turn 4 or turn 5. I did not mean to go on that GT at all, and so I super apologize for that one. But yeah, my accident into the tires, that was just, looking back at it, I still don't know what happened. I was over on the rubbered stuff. I broke earlier than I normally broke, and honestly, I cannot figure out what happened. It just washed out and into the tires.
Yeah, just a couple within one lap, essentially things just sort of all fell apart between the contact with the GT3 car and then hitting the wall there for yourself. But what you did manage to at least was to get in, get the repairs. Were you in the pits thinking you still had a shot for a podium? Was that the strategy, was just get back out? Because you saw Grant was out, you saw May was back out. Are you thinking, see how far I can go, get back in this?
Yeah, so when the accident happened, I had some bent steering. I didn't know much else was broken, so I'm like, just let me keep on trucking. But then I got a meatball, so I had to come serve it. It was about 4.5-5 minutes of required repairs, and I was looking down at the standings, and I knew that May and Pelikui were a few laps down. I was like, I should be okay. I just come out with a few laps before they come back around, and I'll be fine. So yeah, wasn't too concerned.
Yeah, well, it was a rough night, but still managed to come home in the second spot here tonight. And if I look at the point standings that are updated, you've still got the points lead by about 7 points between you and Pelikui Grant. So I think we got ourselves a pretty exciting setup finale here coming up in a couple of weeks. So good luck. Looking forward to that. I'm sure you'll be practicing quite a bit with the team in preparation for that finale.
Oh, yeah, for sure. This last weekend for the 12-hour, we're doing a lot, and I know that place like the back of my hand now, so it'll be a good one.
It will definitely be. So congrats tonight on that recovery for you, Shane. Second spot here at Long Beach.
All right, there you go. Shane Larson from the Wrong Stuff Racing finishing second in GTP. And you said it, Larry, right now. Shane Larson with a 7-point advantage over Pelikui Grant, sitting in third. He wasn't here racing with us tonight, but Marlon Jones still in third, 19 points back from Grant, 26th off the championship right now. So we've got one more driver sitting and waiting for us in the green room, Larry. Let's bring in our GT3 Pro winner from Orion Racing, Mike Dam.
All right, Mike Dam, congrats on the victory here tonight, but this place brings with it all of the chaos that comes with Long Beach, even with a couple of restarts off the start and all of the action that happened within the pits, but you managed to come home victorious. Tell me a little bit about your side of the race tonight.
That's just it. I wanted to, the plan was to avoid the chaos, so right from the get-go, just try to, leave appropriate gaps and just kind of settle in. I let Dean buy me there at the beginning a little bit, so I wasn't too worried. Just let the race kind of unfold and stay out the walls, stay out of the other cars. So
yeah, it seemed to be that was the best strategy for you, but then Dean had his issues, and suddenly you find yourself kind of with a pretty big buffer there. But it seemed chaotic. The last 15 minutes of this race got even maybe more chaotic than the first 15. Are you worried about that, or are you just then at that point leaving extra room and maybe letting the GTPs by a little bit earlier, a little easier?
Honestly, I didn't see what happened to Dean, but I kind of figured something happened after the pit cycle. I was planning on jumping him on the stop anyways, saving a lot of fuel, sitting behind him there. So fortunately that worked out a lot better than I thought it was going to. So yeah, I had kind of a big gap there, but I can't say enough. Those top four guys, they were running some good laps at this tight track. It's pretty dangerous.
Yeah, it's a tough place to race, but you managed to come home with the victory here tonight. And it looks like, if I check the point standings, you have leapfrogged past your teammate now into the top spot. Travis still in second, Yago Moraes in third. So with one round to go, anything is possible, but you're in the right position after a successful night tonight. So congrats on that, Mike. Anybody you want to give a special thanks to?
Yeah, just all the guys in the league, my teammate Travis, Frank at Ricmotech for sponsoring, Kevin and Jeff for putting the whole thing together. So, and thanks to you guys for broadcasting.
Well, congrats to you on that victory tonight and the points lead going into the last round. So Mike Dam victory here at Long Beach. Tough place to win, but you got it done.
Thanks, guys.
There you go, Mike Dam from Orion Racing. And Larry, it was a big 22-point night for Mike Dam as he goes from being 15 points down from his teammate in the championship to having a 7-point advantage over Travis Schwenke. Yago Mori is currently sitting third in the championship, 15 points back from Schwenke, 22 points out of the championship lead, and then a big gap back to Thorman and Jennifer McDonald, who are only 2 points apart, but McDonald coming off that race win a couple weeks ago. Shame that she couldn't be here. She actually, as I was going back and looking at those finishes from a couple years ago, from season number 2, Jennifer McDonald actually finished second to Elvis Rankin in the GTE class. So definitely a track that she would have been well suited to. Mm-hmm. All right, so why don't we wrap things up here from Long Beach, Larry, and we'll take a look at what we've got coming up in the next couple of weeks across our Ricmotech series. Next Tuesday night, or probably not Tuesday night, next Monday night, April 3rd, April Fool's Day, April 3rd is going to be round number 7 of the Ricmotech Sports Car Series. Those are our GT4 and TCR racers. We're going to be across the pond. We're going to be at Brands Hatch for a 60-minute race. And then in 2 weeks, what would normally be the slot for the World Challenge, we're actually going to have the week off for Easter, and the World Challenge will return in, in 3 weeks, April 17th for the finale of season number 6, and it is going to be Sebring International Raceway. Great venue to wrap up a very successful season. And then finally, May 1st, May Day, it is going to be the opening round of the newly renamed Club Sport Series. Not just the Mazda MX-5s any longer, but we're going to have the Toyota GR86s as well, and we're going to be at Suzuka for that, again, opening round, a 60-minute race. So as we get ready to wrap things up here, Larry, a great evening of mayhem at Long Beach as we're getting ready to wrap this season up. I'm Greg Ginsberg along with Larry Lefty McLeod. Thanks as always to the folks behind the scenes, Jonathan Grabowski and John Roberts, and we will see you next Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Have a great week, everybody.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com.
Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, You owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.